Hey everyone, how's it going? Bowser the Healer here, and I want to talk about the MDI. I plan to cover one of my favorite sets, potentially in another video, because I want to just really dive into that one. So I want to talk about some of the cool strategies I saw, and especially some strategies as a healer that just really made me happy, that just sort of tickled me. Very fun stuff. First one being Veximus. For those of you who don't know, this is, I've seen this in pugs. I actually did this in a pug last week. But for Veximus, you can just have the boss take an orb in first and second phase, one orb, and for whatever reason, that changes the spell order in such a way that you end up getting no arcane bomb with arcane fissure, which is really hard to mitigate and heal through and survive. And to have that sort of taken away and made a lot easier is really cool, and you can implement that in a key today, so that's pretty exciting to me. I also I love this one. So if you've ever have a warrior tank friend, they probably hate Jade Serpent Temple. It's because there's a lot of magic damage there. But more importantly, Jade Serpent Strike during the priestess fight, where you're fighting the priestess, I think is what they're called, and they turn into Yu'lon. But during green phase, the second half of the boss, or the, I guess, second phase, right? You have to deal with this move that causes an insane heal absorb and a ton of damage, and the tank just does not have enough cooldowns to get through it on their own. So they're gonna have to pop stuff, you're gonna have to heal them, you're probably gonna need off heals helping them. It's miserable. But today I learned that you can just shadow meld it. So night elves can drop combat and go invisible, and if you do that during that move, the boss will not try to attack another target. It will instead go right to its next spell order, which is to do the wave afterwards. And then the boss can be re-aggroed by the tank with a taunt, and it's like nothing happened. You can actually just stop a round of Jade Serpent Strike. Beautiful. I'm just so happy, because this is such a miserable thing to heal, especially for warriors. They particularly struggle on this one. But for me, the one that took the cake for me was the implementation of Discipline Priest. Now, I saw this on some of the time trials, and I don't remember the full composition, but there were two instances of Discipline Priest that really got me. One of which is Fire Mage. So instead of having a Shadow Priest, what if you brought a Fire Mage? Fire Mage has the potential to do more AoE and I think a bit more single target, but they're a bit needy in the cooldown department, usually requiring something like a PI. Okay, so bring a Discipline Priest. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, but you lose some of the off healing of a Shadow Priest because they're going to do more with Vampiric Embrace than a disc, which is totally fair. But also, Preservation Evoker and Resto Shaman do a lot more damage than the Discipline Priest. Now, in live keys, let's be real, Discipline Priest pump, right? Disc just slams targets, they're single target, they're great with prio damage, and they heal the party through it. Super cool class fantasy, but also it's just really efficient. But these are time trials, these are time attacks, and you're going to need to find a strategy that saves on time. So if you're doing 20 to 50k more damage a pull, depending on what it is, as a Preservation Evoker or a Resto Shaman, then why bring Disc? You're going to be losing that much damage a pull? Well, that Fire Mage better be worth it. And there were two amazing instances of this, one of which is right here with these 5 crystally golem dudes from Azure Vaults, where you get the whelp to awaken them, and then you have to fight all of them at the same time. And this was a super clean pull, but Bore Money here was, look at the difference. I'll try to have both on screen right now. Look at the difference between team left and team right here. The Fire Mage is pumping, and that is all because of the PI combustion setup. Again, the Fire Mage just blasts in single target, setting everything on fire around the single target. Which leads me to my other wonderful example. When we go to fight Azure Blade, you'll notice that the Fire Mage is just, doing their thing, dropping as much damage as possible. There's a Bloodlust running. And when Azure Blade goes into the stasis to get more mana, and we have to fight the clones, look at the damage the clones are taking in the background. Right, it's not even fair. Like, they're not being touched by anyone. Like, maybe the Unholy DK got a dot or something over there, but like, no, that's insane. That is such AoE damage from single target that is just unlike anything else in the game. That is so time efficient. I hope we're seeing more fire mages in future MDIs. The other really interesting use of a discipline priest was a BM hunter. So this one's a little more confusing. Dire wolves have the best quarter stars right now. They're so fast. They do this crazy dog pull and they run it all the way to the boss, and it's beautiful. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend you watch this match with them versus Empyrean. But Empyrean has this BM hunter, and that means you get some of the best single target damage in the game, which means your prio target damage is pretty good. Now, there's a wipe on dire wolves. It's really tragic, and it ends up putting Empyrean oh so slightly ahead, right? Like they're a chunk ahead, but if they're not taking out the packs quickly, then it should be that dire wolves could catch back up. But the damage, the priority damage from the BM hunter is the difference maker. Now, I talked about this in my DPS video for healers. Evening out the packs is the best method of saving on DPS, right? Because if your AoE players don't have to leave AoE to go to do single target, then you clear out more efficiently. And so if you have 1 to 2 party members that are doing that damage and evening out the health bars, you can make some incredible time save. But I don't know how you calculate that. If somebody would like to figure that out, please tell me. I would love to hear. But I know it saves time, and it saves a decent amount when you do it pull after pull. And yeah, it really does, because they fly through some of the packs, and there's some time loss here and there and some efficiency struggles. And then Empyrean gets the world's worst Court of Stars moment I've ever seen trying to find the spy. I love it. Ugh, God, it makes me feel so valid for all the times it's gone horrible in my keys. But they end up still winning due to the blunder of dire wolves, and by a chunk of change. And again, it's that single target damage that's really pulling the weight for them. I find this fascinating, but can they pull like that? Can they pull like dire wolves? That's sort of my point. Can you have a route like dire wolves with a BM hunter? Are the CC and kicks in place? Do we have enough AoE from the BM hunter to like manage to make your single target priority worth it? That's hard. That's a really hard thing to figure out, especially because you need to be on tournament realm, I'd imagine. You would need to have perfectly geared characters in the best case scenarios with the best players in the world who really know these classes doing something about it. And I find that that's going to be really challenging for someone like me to figure out, but it does leave me. And with my final point, the rest of the MDI is going to be sick. With these kinds of strategies showing up, you got to wonder, do teams like Echo have stuff like this in the back pocket? Are they holding strategies for the sake of bracket? They might be. They're such a professional team. They're so good, right? But what if they don't? Well, that means that they're probably going to take these strategies and start optimizing them. Echo and every other team under the sun that's going to be making it. And actually all the teams in, I want to say it's called The Last Stand, the sort of last chance qualifier tournament, if you will. And all these teams are going to be able to practice these strategies. They saw all these teams go to town and do these runs. How can they implement those strategies and make it work with their teams? And I think there's a lot of time save here. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that needs to be reevaluated. And us as viewers just get to reap the benefits of that. We just get to watch this happen and see these teams go absolutely ham on the rest of the tournament, and I'm really looking forward to it. Again, I have a video planned to talk about one of my favorite sets. I kind of want to do a deep dive or maybe do a live reaction and pull it apart, but that should be really exciting. And also for those of you looking for my raid video, probably this week. It depends on how busy I end up getting. Thank you all so much for watching. The MDI has been incredible, and I hope to keep talking about it with you all soon. Take care, friends. I'll see you all soon.